Over the past 5 years, we've seen a casual dining revolution in London. What's happening is that sort of London is catching up with major other metropolises like New York, where actually there's been an eating out culture for the past 20 years. I think now people are really starting to understand sort of food almost as entertainment. Boxpark Shoreditch is the world's first pop-up mall. We're built from 60 shipping containers. We're based in the heart of East London in Shoreditch. I think one of the things that we're proud of is that we're at the home of like 30 to 40 independent retailers, and we believe passionately in independent retailers. We feel as though they offer the customer something special.
From the very start at Boxpark, we tried to set ourselves apart from maybe the rest of the high street and create a more interesting environment for the consumer. And one of our ways of doing that and to generate more footfall here is by having different events. We host well over 200 a year, from small workshops to bigger music events. And it's always a free event with a free bar, giving something back kind of to the community and also generating traffic here for the restaurants and for the retailers.
It's a pop-up. It's bringing in elements of street food. The fact that it isn't, a permanent restaurant site and it's constantly changing and evolving, I think is really exciting.
The world first pop-up mall, something I wanted to be a part of. Do you know what I mean? The space is just a shipping container. I think the smaller, the faster the pace, and that's what we are. We are London's first vegan, fast-paced joint.
If you're trying to open a restaurant costs a lot of money. So street food is to give you an idea of the flavour of what you can do going forward. I think Boxpark is something in between. So you have the street food, and if it works well, then you can get yourself started in someone like the Box, which is a container with the 16 seats, and then you can develop from that point to a restaurant.
I think the casual dining revolution has been sort of gaining pace for the last decade or so, and I think there's a lot of reasons why it's particularly prevalent in London. I think the changing nature of cities, the changing lifestyles of people who work in them, moving towards a 24-hour economy.
A statistic I heard recently is 35 to 45-year-olds in London are eating out 3 times a week. You can't do that at a Michelin-star restaurant unless you're exceptionally wealthy. And I think people see it's part of the food they eat every day. People are more well-travelled, so hence why the street food side of things is become very, very popular.
I think people are getting more interested in food and casual dining in London just because it's more interesting and there's more options and range. I think for a long time, if we were eating out, you either went out and you sat down at a restaurant and it's quite a stiff, formal experience, or you got a bag of chips on the way home or a kebab. Now, just as soon as people have realised that there is actually a lot more choice and there's a lot more range, people have naturally gravitated towards it.
When I first got here, I went around to speak to the existing major occupiers. I went to speak to some of the developers and ask what it was that was so special about Croydon. And they said, well, look, we love Croydon. It's a great place to be. We can get our staff here. We can get into London very quickly. The costs are great, but it's not quite as interesting as we want it to be. So I started working with colleagues, and we thought, well, looking around, thinking, what can we do to improve the experience for those people? And there's only one real answer, and that was Boxpark.
Croydon is the largest London borough. We're actually located on the site of East Croydon Station. What I see at the moment is a lot of people going to Croydon to work and then coming out of Croydon, and I actually want people to actually stop and actually start to enjoy Croydon.
It's so well connected. The trains, you've got 25 trains an hour flying into central London, going to either London Victoria in 16 minutes, London Bridge in 12 minutes, and you've got Farringdon, Clapham Junction, Elephant and Castle. All of those places are within 20 minutes journey time. And that brings you this huge pool of people. I mean, there's about 1.1 million economically active people within a 30-minute travel time in central Croydon. So a huge amount of disposable income, a huge amount of talent that can come into Croydon. It's about the size of Birmingham.
For the past sort of 20 years, I think Croydon has really suffered from a bit of a grey image, but there's lots of major sort of creatives that have come from Croydon, people like Tracy Emin, like Kate Moss. It's got a fantastic Croydon College there, and it's got a fantastic history. Croydon is crying out for something new to be proud of, and hopefully Boxpark will be that.
I actually got introduced to Roger about a year ago now via a mutual acquaintance, and he suggested I come down and meet Roger, which was obviously a good thing to do. I found we got on really well, had this mutual enthusiasm again for doing stuff with containers, and then we had this long conversation about could we do some work together, what would we do, and all the rest of it. And one of the things we were talking about was what would be the next generation for Boxpark, how could we take the thinking from Shoreditch to the next level. And the kind of common reference point we came up with was Covent Garden. The reason being that Shoreditch doesn't enclose space, it just faces out onto the street, whereas Covent Garden actually encloses space and is weather protected. And our sort of reference points were really not so much buildings, but places like piazzas in Italy, fantastic streets like the Ramblas, and not so much buildings, but the spaces between them. So trying to create this really, really vibrant, amazing place for people to meet, eat, drink, and just have a great time.
We've got 80 shipping containers. I think that's going to sort of translate to about 30 or 40 food and drink operators. And I think you're going to have a combination of sort of one-man bands that are going to be operating out of a single unit. But I also think we're going to attract some larger sort of food and drink retailers that might operate out of 5 units. One of the things that we've learned about Boxpark Shoreditch is that retail is really entertainment. And what we really want to do at Boxpark Croydon is really raise it to the next level. So we want to put entertainment at the heart and soul of that development. So we're going to build a 20,000 square foot event space in the heart of Boxpark Croydon, and we're going to surround that with some of the best F&B sort of street food operators in London and the South East.
The thing that we've learned is to ensure that we get the right brand mix, and that's what we want to do at Boxpark Croydon. We want to bring independence there, we want to give people an opportunity to start up and expand their businesses. We want to offer something from day through to night so that people can come here to grab a coffee, meet for lunch, or come down for the evening and enjoy our entertainment.
Boxpark arriving in Croydon isn't just good for Croydon, I think it's good for London. I think the whole idea that there are only certain areas in London where people dress well and people eat well is just ridiculous. Everyone should do. I mean, we've got a great experience of that, of taking street feast to Lewisham last year. A lot of people probably hadn't had much an idea what Lewisham was about. We've gone down there and had a great impact on the community down there. They're particularly appreciative of it because there was a lack of an offering, lack of a developed offering, and I can see a similar thing happening in Croydon as well.
I'm from South East London, so for me Croydon is, it'd be really exciting to go there and do something. I think it's a new frontier. I think the site, from what I've seen, looks like it's capable of really groundbreaking stuff.
Things are changing, fashion is changing, Food is fashion now, I've got a lot of people that are waiting for South London to have a vegan joint like this, so that's what excites me. Croydon, just the space, the fresh new space, and I think South London's missing that.
I think Boxpark Croydon is the evolution of maybe Boxpark Shoreditch, because it's taking all the best bits of Boxpark Shoreditch. It's taking the whole F&B scene, it's taking the outside seating areas, it's taking the free event and putting it all under one single roof and basically putting events right at the heart of it. And it's also really sort of looking at the whole casual dining revolution that's happening at the moment in the UK, and we're really saying let's build a development which focuses on that casual dining revolution.
Boxpark Croydon, I think, would actually be even better than Boxpark in Shoreditch. I think the fact that it's food and drink only makes it so much more attractive. To an operator, but also to a customer. You've got a lot more choice. One night you can eat Memphis barbecue, another night you can eat Thai food, another night you can eat Colombian street food. Who knows what's going to be there.
What's great about it is it gives an opportunity to young, self-funded operators, who want to do their own thing. Wherever you've got that much sort of new kind of blood coming into the industry, you're going to get innovation, you're going to get creation, it's going to be really exciting for everyone.